Hello, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me again. Thank you that having realized that a new video was live, you clicked on the button and you know you're here watching, and I'm going to invite you, if you have not subscribed to the channel, to do that right now before we go any further. A special welcome to you if you are a first-time viewer. My name is Kim. Here we talk about everything having to do with home and school and home life, and sharing with you all what works for me. To all my returning viewers and subscribers, thank you so much. Your support means a whole lot. Now today again, we're just going to be talking a little, and I'm going to be sharing something with you concerning, based on an experience I had, last week, and actually more than one experience I had that just kind of underscored the importance of trusting our instincts. In life, we have many decisions to make, and sometimes we downplay or discount our natural, what we call our gut feeling, because it's been given to us by God as a way to kind of keep things going in the way that they should go. And when it comes to our children's education, I'm going to encourage us to trust our gut, trust our instincts. What do I mean by that? I'm talking about that particular educational system that your child is immersed in. You want to be evaluating and reflecting and deciding, what is my instinct telling me about what I'm observing? What is my gut telling me about the next decision that I will need to make? So whether it be with relationships, whether it be with business decisions, whatever it is, whether it be with your child's education, which is what we're going to be talking about and focusing on, parents and guardians, trust your instincts. Trust your instincts. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's get into it. Now, once our child is enrolled in school, or whatever system the child is in, the child could be homeschooled as well, right? But whatever system that the child is in, we should always be monitoring what is happening. Usually at the end of a term, you'll get a report card. But even before you get the report card from the teacher, you would have been observing your child. You would have been, at the best vantage point to see how well the child is adapting, how well they're doing, what their struggles are, what their likes are, what's working for them, what's not. And let me tell you, we grow up seeing the educational system as somewhat of a untouchable force. We don't criticize it because we grow up thinking that schools know best, teachers know best and all of that. And they do know some things that we don't, but I said it before in my video entitled, which video I say it in another video day, which video I say it in 7 lies people believe about homeschooling. Yeah, that's the one I said it in. We have the best perspective concerning what is best for our children, what is best for our child, right? And so with that being said, where as a teacher at the end of a school year will kind of give you a summary of how the child has been performing, there should be nothing on that should really greet you by surprise, because I'm encouraging us to stay so close and so focused, not hovering, but so focused on how our child is performing, so observant of what they're doing, how they're functioning, how they're relating, how they're navigating their assignments, that whatever the teacher may put on a report card at the end of a year, it should either be, oh well, I already knew, or oh well, I didn't pick that up. But it should not be you waiting to hear from the teacher at the end of a term or at the end of a school year concerning your child's performance, right? So if we are doing it that way, where we would then, having followed them, observing them as they go through the year, we would then be able to pick up whether or not their full potential is being met. And I'm not saying full potential being met in a perfect way, but again, we are big on giving our children the best. Many of us are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars on fees for them. You really want to make sure it would make sense for you to be getting your money's worth, right? So you kind of have to participate in that process. Not kind of, you must participate in that process to be evaluating whether or not that child's full potential is being met or it's not being met at all. Because there are some cases where some students' potential is just not being tapped, it's not being touched into, because of the nature of the educational environment and system that they are in. Again, it is an instance where you must now call on your gut instinct. And the thing with gut, let me take that back. The thing with gut, you don't have to call upon it, right? It presents itself and says, see me here, right? What you're gonna do with me? Again, I tell you, when it comes to decisions of relationships and business and job opportunities, while we employ logic and we employ rational thinking, a huge part of it we employ our gut. And I know we live in a day and age with information overload, and people might say, read and just decide what you want to do, and talk to the professionals, hear what the professionals have to say, and let them guide you. And I know our gut gets a bad rap, people kind of discount it, but please do not discount your instinct and your gut when it comes to the decisions concerning anything really, but specifically your child's education. In many cases, the student is the one who gets blamed for their failure to perform, right? Or their inability, what appears to be an inability to perform, when really and truly it is the system that they're in, the educational system that they're in, that is to be blamed. Because if your child does not have a learning disability, and even with a learning disability, again, the environment will determine how well that child performs. So even with any kind of learning disability, it is not an appropriate reason or excuse for a child to not be able to perform. You have to create that environment that suits that particular child in order for that child to be able to adapt. It's reasonable. I mean, you don't put a fish on land and expect the fish to survive. It just doesn't make sense, right? We're different beings. We're created with different needs. And while we have kind of lumped all students in one and say, do art now, do English now, do math now, do it this way, put that down, that's not reasonable, because we are all different. I'm not saying that we cannot have a situation or a system where there is some grouping, but this whole collective grouping where all the students have to do art and all the students have to do that and that, it just, to me, does a disservice to the child, who may not necessarily be, even if they may be inclined to do it, they may not be in the phase or at a stage where they are inclined to do something or even prepared to do something. So I think it is better not to adjust the child to fit the system, but to adjust the system to fit the child. So I want us to think through that. Parents will realize what is happening, and they sit back and they just don't trust themselves. They don't trust themselves when they say, I don't think this is the best place, the best environment, the best teacher, whatever it is for my child. But they might ask themselves, who am I to say? What do you mean, who are you to say? You are that child's parent. You have been given a powerful guidance system called your gut, called your instinct, to help make the best decision for them, right? And far too often parents fail to act soon enough. They act too late, and sometimes the child end up leave school. The child don't have no subjects. The child, and of course children cannot have subjects for a myriad of reasons. I'm just using this as an example. The child don't have no subjects, the child not have no skill, the child not even have a desire to take up another book or to learn anything, right? And again, I want to differentiate between books per se and learning, right? If your child leaves school and them say, me no want have nothing to do with education, something went wrong in that system, and it is not so much something wrong with the child as to why they have just kind of closed the door as it relates to learning, or no, they have a block concerning learning. It is usually as a result, I believe, of the system that they were in. It did not give them the opportunity to really explore learning in the way learning was meant to be explored, which is not hard and fast down your throat, do it this way. There's no creativity, there's no room to spread your wings, and so it kind of leave them with a bad taste in their mouth. And can't really blame them, because me now in hindsight, getting to adulthood, and I was saying to my mother the other day, if I could go back to school now, half the things that used to floor me, hindsight is 2020, right? But half the things that used to floor me, when you realize, maybe if it was presented in a different way, maybe if there wasn't this, I know everything is time bound, because time is not infinite, right? And we have to give, I don't set assignments, for my students or for Phoebe and say you have forever to learn it. But at the same time, you kind of give people room to figure things out, and be there to not to hover and to tell them do it this way or you don't get no marks, but to kind of guide them through finding the solution, instead of leading with the solution and telling them these are the only steps you can take to get it. You don't want to wait until it's too late to act. If your gut instinct is telling you where my child is now, wherever the child is. The child could be home, the child could be in a conventional school, the child could have a private tutor, whatever it is. But wherever my child is now, my gut is telling me XYZ. I'm going to walk you through some steps to take following that gut instinct that has presented itself to you. But again, I'm telling you, do not ignore it. So as you trust your gut to make the best schooling decision for your family, for your child, for the child who you may be guardian of, these are some steps that I would want us to all take. First of all, do not let the opinions of others, whether they be friends, family, don't let it sway you. What do I mean by don't let it sway you? No, I'm not saying that you do not take on board the opinion of others. I'm not saying that you don't consider the opinion of others. But remember, we're starting from our gut as parents, or vantage point as parent, or vantage point as guardian. Other people do not have that. And so while they can speak to, possibly their experience, and their experience does carry weight for their situation because their experience was also affected by their gut, right? And I can't have a gut instinct for your child, certainly not to the same extent or even half to the same extent that you have, right? So when you pause and you reflect and you look where your child is, and you say, my gut is telling me, that internal system is telling me that I have to make a decision. I might have to move them. I might have to pull them. I might have to, change something. I might have to supplement some things. Friends might say to you, no, your child is in the best of the best school, a school that carries a very good reputation. And that does carry some weight, but it cannot override your gut. That's what I'm emphasizing. It still cannot override your gut, no matter what the reputation of the school is, right? Because again, children are different, right? And your child may be different. All children are different, right? So it's not that they may be different, they are different, right? They are unique, right? Each child is unique. And so, friends, colleagues may say to you, just wait 2 more years, just wait 3 more years. Can I tell you, I got some advice years ago concerning a particular decision that I had to make, and I was sitting on it, and somebody said to me, Kimona, 2 years from now, it's likely that you're gonna feel the same way. Just act now. Because why? Because they could tell that it was my gut that was telling me that, this is not what I should be doing. This is not the place for me, right? And I never forget the advice. Now, if the person is watching, I don't know if she even remember that she told me that. And it was a work colleague at the time that told me. She said, Kimona, act now, because I know, like the way you're talking about it, 2 years from now, it's likely that you're gonna feel the same way, and it would have just been 2 years lost, right? And so I want to tell her thank you for telling me that. Never forget it, right? And so I'm gonna tell you the same thing. If you are seeing a situation where your child is just not performing, they're not thriving, they're not performing, they're not happy. Sometimes I think that students must dread school and dread learning. Oh, it's just a part of the school thing. They should hate it. They should cry in the morning and be like, oh, why do I have to go to school? Oh, I don't want to learn. And I don't think it has to be like that. I do not think it has to be like that. We can have a situation where if our children are in the right environment, if they're thriving, right, if they're looking forward in some sense for the most part to go and learn, right, then that kind of indicates that it's the right environment for them, right? The pressure of especially schools of today, but the pressure that these students are under, oh my, don't be afraid to trust yourself over professionals. Right? Because many of them, again, well-meaning professionals, but you again have been given that warning system for you and your child. I'm not saying you should just get up and just make a move same time. I'm not saying that. You pause and you reflect and you use rational thinking, you use logical thinking, but do not ignore your intuition in the midst of using that rational and logical thinking. So that may mean you need to read some more, right? You need to do some more research, right? So again, you are employing the use of professionals. It's just that you're not letting it override your gut. So in doing your research, in doing your reading, you're looking at things from multiple perspectives. Whatever it is that you are considering, you look at the pros and cons of that. where the child is now, you look at the pros and cons of that, you put the two together, you weigh them, and you make a decision from that. So it's not just the gut and you're just making a spontaneous move without using your logic and your rationale, but you're utilizing other sources, right? Other opinions to help you make the decision. And that's why I said for the first one, it is not that you don't consider them, you just don't let that in and of itself sway you or dissuade you from doing what you have concluded is best for your child's education. And the third thing I would encourage you to do is to never forget that you have options. We live in a world, I would say, of groupthink. Groupthink, and I'm not going to take it back. That's how I see it. If you are in a conversation, a room, it is likely that if you have 10 people, 9 out of those 10 people view things the exact same way. And when you trace it back to why they view things that way, is because somebody viewed it that way, and depending on who the person was who gave them that advice, whether directly or indirectly, they just hold on to it. They don't ask questions, they don't explore, they don't question anything. Right? They don't challenge anything. And if you challenge it, there's something wrong with you, right? Well, when it comes to how children ought to be learning, because, and I'm going to share this, and it's my opinion, right? I was sharing with my mother, I think, or more than one people, because if you know me, I'm a share, right? I'm going to share, right? If you don't want to hear it, yeah, but I'm going to share. Who deemed that this is the most ideal system for children to learn? I mean, just think about it. It's starting out so early, and I get that we have to earn and all that stuff, but just get where I'm going. Let's just look at it for what it is, right? A system that says, as early as possible, we're going to pluck the child out of the comfort of their home, the environment, where they know and trust those around them. And we're going to place all of them at the same age in a room. And there's going to be one person who is a lot older than them, who is going to try to meet their need for learning all at the same time, when there are varying personalities, varying needs, varying struggles. And this one person is supposed to tap in, adding new information, responding to needs. It just does not sound ideal. Then we're going to have them try to meet particular standards that have been set outside of them, standards that they now have to kind of force themselves to meet within a particular time, or where we have to force them to meet within a particular time, because we have something that says that this is what they need to learn by X time. There is not necessarily room for a natural, because the way God designed this earth and this world, things happen naturally. God, not the universe now. It's another story. Right? Or does nature, where things happen naturally, right? Do children need guidance? Do they need help? Of course they do. They're children. But this thing where you're forcing them to fit into this box, if you know, say 5 plus 5 equals 10 by the time you turn 5, something wrong with you. I think it puts this pressure on them that honestly, it almost appears to me to be somewhat evil what we're doing to them. But again, I'm not saying we're doing this intentionally, but we have to kind of think through, who said that this was the best way for children to learn? Like, who said that grouping them, lumping them together, putting them in a room, putting uniform on them, I'm sorry, I just think that there's some room for us to reconsider, does this even make sense? And even more so, could this be even more harmful to my child's development than helpful? I don't want to sound extra, I don't want to sound dramatic, but I'm just asking us to just think through some of the things that we've come to accept as a norm, as part of schooling and education and rigidity. We kind of want to think through. I think we should think through some of those things and trust our gut when it comes to them, right? Never forget that you have options. Never forget. They might tell you, say the only thing that you can do is send a child to the basic school down the road, Send your child to that. Da, 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 da. No, you have options. You have options. Sit and work it out, right? There's always an opportunity for change if necessary. So even if you make a decision based on another option that you know realize that you have when it comes to your child's education, if it not work out, it's not the end of the world. You make a change, you adapt, right? We're not stuck in this box that we've been placed in, and we decide, whether or not we stay in the box or not. Like, nobody is chaining you to the box, right? And if you decide that you're gonna stay in the box, it's not reasonable that you're gonna bring a child into the world and then tell them, say them have to sit down in the box as well. Realize that you have options and know that you can make a change if necessary. Life is about adaptation. Life is about going with the flow. I'm sure if you were to ask persons 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, if there was a time when the world would be shut down and we'd be walking around in masks and children have to stay in, everybody have to stay inside, you can't touch, it would be like, no way, we couldn't survive as a world like that. And look what has happened. We have to adapt to change, and humans are able to adapt to change. So why not apply that same principle when it comes to your child's education? Change it up. Do what works for them, for you and your family. Do not be held down, right, by thinking that you don't have no other option. Boy, when I'm a child, so you just have to go so. Is there some point when you might evaluate and say, yeah, for now this is the best decision? We don't really have many options, but I certainly can't say that you can at any point in time say you don't have any options at all. So remember that you always have options, which means sometimes you can switch it, you can supplement it, you can add, you can take away, or you may evaluate and just say that, hey, I'm good where I am, my child is good where he or she is, she's thriving, she's looking forward to learning, or he's looking forward to learning, he's thriving, and I'm not seeing any need to make any changes from there. But again, whatever you come to, just make sure that you have employed the use of your gut instinct. Do not discount it. Do not silence it, because big tech and all the other professionals are telling you that this is what everybody should be doing. The media is saying this is what everybody should be doing. Even the government may tell you this is what everybody should be doing as an ideal, what is best for the child. No, you were given that internal system to guide your child. Do not silence it. Do not ignore it. Definitely don't discount it, because it is what will help you make the best decision for your child concerning their education, their schooling, and of course other areas of their life. So again, thank you so much for watching, and again I invite you to continue to employ the use of your gut instincts in making the best decisions for your child's education. If you have found any value in this video at all, I will invite you, please, to not click off without hitting your like button. If you have not subscribed already, please hit your subscribe button as well. Please share the video. Please comment on the video. Please let me know in the comments down below what are some of the ways that you have found your gut instinct has worked out for you in terms of something to do with your child. It could be your child's education, it could be your child's friends, it could be any kind of situation, but your gut instinct saved you from making or continuing down a wrong path or decision concerning your child. I'd really love to hear that. Comment below and let me know how that has helped, because it will encourage me as well to continue to trust my gut when it comes to many situations. So again, thank you so much for watching. Until we link up again, until we see each other again, take best care. Bye bye.